All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, just a couple of days into free agency here, they've made a couple of moves. Some of them are absolutely huge. First things first, Russell Wilson heading over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We learned early on in this week, as Patrick Peterson said earlier today, that does make the Pittsburgh Steelers a dangerous football team. We'll talk about that. And then they made a superstar splash. Well, technically a star splash. Patrick Queen, 24-year-old linebacker from divisional rival in the Baltimore Ravens. I cannot even fathom why there was any type of backlash of that acquisition. It is a needle-moving move. Guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is unbelievable. They have studs, Minka, TJ, Highsmith, Herbig. You have studs, young, old, rising, Joey Porter Jr. They just got Patrick Queen. I mean, this is, in my opinion, like a top 5 move in all of free agency thus far. And I think really the only backlash is actually from Baltimore Ravens fans, just, being salty and upset, understandably so, for losing Patrick. I cannot even believe that people are saying the reason Patrick Queen is a good linebacker and the reason he was, on his way to stardom this past season, especially having a career year, is because of Roquan Smith. I think it is so silly. I think it's so foolish. And the fact that Patrick Queen is a Pittsburgh Steeler, I don't think will fully hit. I don't think people will really be able to comprehend what that move did and does for the Pittsburgh Steelers until he is out on the field playing snaps in a Steelers uniform. Then people will go back and look at it and be like, oh, shit. Dude, the Pittsburgh Steelers actually have Patrick Queen. And then they traded away Deontay Johnson for Deontay Johnson, which we'll talk about in just a second. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We post a ton of Steelers videos on this channel. Thank you guys for all the love. If you could try and get this video to 500 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So we saw, what was it, 2 days ago, it was like an hour after, of course, I made my Patrick Queen signing video, that the Pittsburgh Steelers traded wide receiver Deontay Johnson and a 7th round pick from this year's class, 240, to the Carolina Panthers for quarterback Deontay Johnson and a 6th rounder at pick number 178. You may ask why. Well, first things first, Pittsburgh's clearly not done in free agency. For example, they just picked up a new safety. We'll talk about that at the end of the video. But you're going to see probably, in my opinion, Tyler Boyd be signed to the Pittsburgh Steelers here by the end of the week. But even if they don't, nonetheless, the Pittsburgh Steelers' current wide receiver position, George Pickens, the star wide receiver, you still have Calvin Austin III. I still got Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington. This move was surprising to some people. Guys, Deontay's had a really bad 2 seasons. And it felt like we saw a report about a week or so ago that they were planning on moving him, or that his name was popping up in trade rumors. And there were a lot of Steelers reporters or journalists that were saying, yeah, he's probably going to get traded. He had a contract thing where he got signed, or he got paid like $3 million on Friday. So this move, kind of seemed inevitable. It just seemed like they were ready for a split. That was his 5th season with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had a career low 51 catches. He had just 717 receiving yards. That was the fewest since his rookie season. And like I said, he had a career year in 2021, but his last 2 years have been terrible. So the wide receiver room is not done. Now with Deontay Johnson, the Pittsburgh Steelers need more cornerbacks in general. This is something that they're still going to continue, whether it's free agency or through the draft, probably a little bit of both. They're going to continue to bolster it. But you lost Patrick Peterson, right? I actually wouldn't even be surprised if he comes back. Joey Porter Jr. had a really solid rookie season. He looks like he, by the end of this upcoming regular year, will be a star cornerback in the NFL. But Deontay Johnson, he's 28 years old. He's in the prime of his career. I think he's just a little bit underrated, a little bit undercovered because he's been with the Carolina Panthers, and Carolina, although they have had a good defense, not too many people were watching the Carolina Panthers this past season. He started 76 of 80 career games. He'll bring plenty of experience to this defense. He also played 16 games last season, so that was big because he had an Achilles injury in 2022. But Deontay Johnson, we go back to a couple of seasons ago. He's getting interceptions. He's getting pass deflections. He's just a good veteran. I'm using air quotes here. He's a good veteran in the prime of his career at 28 years old to help Joey Porter Jr. ascend to that next step. So I really like their cornerback room, even though their only cornerbacks right now are Joey Porter and Deontay Jackson at this current point. They also picked up Deshaun Elliott to help out with the safety position. Minka Fitzpatrick still exists. But guys, when we just look on paper, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, I've got Hayward, I've got Benton, I've got Ogunjobi, I've got Watt, I've got Highsmith, I've got Herbig, I've got Landon Roberts, Patrick Queen. Cole Holcomb's career might be over, which really sucks. So linebacker's still a need for this team. And then that secondary that we just mentioned, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense was ranked 6th in the NFL last season, and it's not going anywhere. They got better, and in my opinion, they got significantly better. Now we'll finish this video talking about the offense here because it is quite interesting. So Arthur Smith is the new offensive coordinator in town with Pittsburgh. I've talked time and time again why Russell Wilson should be a Steeler. He ends up getting officially signed the other day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Guys, he takes this team, he takes this offense, no matter who's on the offense, to the next level. The good news for the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially and Art Smith, who loves to run the football, Jaylen Warren just had a really solid second season. We'll still see what happens with Najee Harris, but he's still on the roster. They still need a center, but they've got a decent offensive line. They've got some guys who can build around. And guys, Russell Wilson, I keep saying the stat in all my Steelers videos, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions last year with Denver. The Pittsburgh Steelers as a team, as a whole offense, have only had 25 passing touchdowns the last 2 seasons. So it's no surprise to me that Pittsburgh hasn't won a playoff game in their last 6 tries because they haven't had a real good quarterback. Big Ben at the end of his career. But folks, Kenny Pickett just wasn't doing it. And this is the last time I'll say this because I'm not trying to rag on the hometown hero. I think he's going to be a great backup quarterback for Russell Wilson. They still need to figure out the long-term answer, the long-term solution at that position. But that's a problem. That's not a problem. That's something that you'll deal with this time next season. We'll go from there, right? But guys, at the end of the day, when your starting quarterback goes down, offensive coordinator fired or not, it literally does not matter. When your starting quarterback goes down and your third string quarterback, Mason Rudolph, wins 3 straight games to get your team into the playoffs, I don't care if he won 3 straight games. It should not be a question of who the starting quarterback should be for your first playoff game. It should be your damn starting quarterback or your old starting quarterback who is now healthy. So Russell Wilson's going to give you big time plays. He's going to keep it clean. He's going to make it run more smooth. He's going to make it more efficient. He's going to be more effective. Not trying to rag on Kenny Pickett, but Russell Wilson to the Pittsburgh Steelers is still pretty quiet. But once, the free agent signings get, once we kind of, once all that fun and that hype settles down a little bit, you'll be looking back at this Russell Wilson move and think, damn, Pittsburgh really needed that, and they are really a much better offense, or will be a much better offense. That's it for me. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. But guys, let me know your thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers offseason thus far. Give me a grade rating, and also let me know any free agents that you'd be looking into at this current point. L'Jarius Sneed also still exists. I'll just throw that out there. That's it for me.